It was 8:40 p.m. on a random Thursday in the middle of March. The weekly report on my phone told me that my average screen time was 4 hours and 29 minutes. Monday had the highest usage, 6 hours and 52 minutes. The week prior hadn't been as bad, an average of 3 hours and 14 minutes. Some weeks were worse. According to a report done by Harmony Healthcare, American adults spend an average of 5 hours and 16 minutes on their phone each day. This varies between generations, but probably not as much as you think. It isn't just the younger generations who are doomed by the endless scroll. Despite my slightly unconventional life, I am not exempt from the pull of social media. When I get home late in the afternoons, there are so many things that I could do. I could write, I could paint, cook a meal I've never made before, I could go on a walk or try a new hobby, I could read a long book with yellowed pages, and not have the desire to be carried away by a screen. Instead, I found myself pulling out my phone and scrolling. Most of the time, nothing I watched was memorable for longer than a few seconds. I'm not really sure if I fully enjoyed it, rather, it was just something I did without thought. I rationalized it by calling it relaxing or a treat after a long day. But was it relaxing? Was it a treat? Wouldn't it be more fulfilling to do something else? Not in the ego-driven hustle culture sort of way, but a more honest one. Wasn't there other things I could do with my time? After some thought, I eventually came to one conclusion. I needed to change my relationship with my phone. Being in my late 20s, I've had a smartphone in my hand for my entire adult life. I don't know what it's like not to have it with me. I don't know what it's like not to be tethered to everything. As appealing as it might be to drop everything and buy a flip phone, I wasn't ready for that level of change, at least not yet. Trust me, I contemplated it, but at the end of the day, there were some apps that I couldn't bring myself to entirely remove from my life. Most, I was surprised to find, were practical rather than social. Things like my GPS and music apps were hard to replace in a way that made sense for me. So I decided instead to simplify my phone. My plan was simple. For 1 month, I limited my access to social media through my laptop only. I didn't delete my accounts. After all, I still needed them to share my art and connect with friends who lived far from me. Instead, I tethered my online presence to a physical place where I was free from the constant stream of notifications. The only apps I kept on my phone were maps and music. I could still text and call people, but I deleted all social media. If you haven't noticed, March has been over for a while now. What you probably don't know is the apps are still off my phone, at least mostly. At first it was strange. I had an impulse to reach for my phone and check for notifications. I also had a pretty intense feeling like I was missing out on something. I kept thinking that someone had posted something of great importance and I would be the last one to know. After about a week, however, those feelings were gone. I won't lie to you and tell you I was terribly productive, mostly because I don't really believe productivity is the virtue we've all been taught to believe it is. Also, because deleting apps from a phone doesn't change who I am. At the end of the day, sometimes I would just want to do nothing. I can say, however, that I spent a lot more time watching movies, reading books, and diving back into crafts I had long forgotten about. I wrote more of my serialized fiction and even attempted a bit of embroidery. I also became more familiar with things like boredom and small discomforts. Standing in line is a lot less fun when you don't have something to fill the time. When everyone around you is looking at their phone, it's hard not to want to do the same. There were some unexpected positives as well. I found myself engaged with small conversations more often at the coffee shop, the grocery store, the post office. Times I would have been looking at my phone, I was now looking at the world. I could feel myself noticing the small things more often. I paid closer attention to the way sunlight entered a room, or the fact that clouds really do make unusual forms. I noticed the pigeons that like to hang out on top of one of the buildings in town, and what cycle the moon was in. My social media still existed, and I occasionally accessed it. However, instead of it being in my pocket at all times, it remained on my laptop. That little extra step of having to pull out my computer seemed to be exactly what I needed to slow down the endless scroll. It's warmer now, and I feel even less desired to be on my phone. Apart from Substack, I am continuing to keep social media on my laptop only. Maybe this is how it will permanently be, or maybe I will reassess this at another time. Either way, I appreciate you coming along with me on this journey. If you're also reassessing your relationship with social media, I'd love to hear your story. Please comment and subscribe to support this channel, and I'd love to hear from you. What kind of video would you like to see from me next? Until then, have a great day and appreciate the little things.